welcome to a new episode of The Woolly Thistle. We're really happy to be here this morning, and I have my co-host Maggie, who was holding the fort last time when I was away, and didn't she do a great job? You did a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I don't think we've done this since before COVID, sat together and recorded.
Yeah.
We did it once. I don't know what episode it was, but it was way in the olden days. And we were just getting going with it, and COVID happened. So we are back together again, which is really good. Maggie works at the shop. She's a friend first and foremost, has been friends for years, knitting friends. And then she came to work at the Woolly Thistle, and she is in fact the longest employee that the Woolly Thistle has had. She started at my house packing orders on Fridays, and basically giving me that Friday to get admin and things done like that. So, and now she is our marketing manager. She runs all our social media, all our Ravelry cals, and Facebook as well, our Facebook group. Lots of things that you do. And she basically is an avid knitter, as much as you are out there, and so she definitely is great to have on the show, and I'm really happy that we're going to make it a regular feature that Maggie is here with us. And we have an exciting addition as well, but we'll talk more about that at the end of the show. So the last couple of weeks were different, and I hope you enjoyed those episodes. They were really fun to do. I'm back from Texas now, which is great, and we forgot to do giveaways the last couple of episodes, so we're going to go straight into that, and we're going to we have already drawn previously for randomly for winners for the last two episodes. So winners from the last two episodes, the first one I forgot to mention, we had a winner, was during the tour episode of my garden and my house, and all you had to do was the same as before, which is just leave a comment and subscribe to our channel. The winner is S. Saul. And she said, love that orange and red Afghan you're knitting. What pattern are you using? And what is the gorgeous yarn you're using? And I think you actually see it in this intro. It's my patchwork blanket, mitered squares. And I used the recipe by Martine Ellis. And you can get to it on Ravelry through my projects. I'm in there as NHK Claire.
No.
Oh, what am I in there as?
You're in there as the Woolly Thistle.
She does that too. So no, I'm in there as the Woolly Thistle, and you can go to my projects and see that. That's one that I've been working on for years. And the yarn I was using is actually, I often do this mid-project, is I take some yarn and I go and knit on my scrappy blanket, and it's this, which I'll talk about soon. It's Rowan Felted Tweed, and this color is 197, I think, but I'll double check that. Right, so you're the winner, and you get a $25 gift certificate. So all you need to do is send us an email to info@thewoollythistle and let us know you are the winner of the tour episode, I think is the way to describe that, because I don't know what number it is right now. And then we have a winner from the last episode when I was in Texas. Maggie was holding the fort here, and that is Kate Polacek or something. Kate with a C. And she says, I'm loving how you're changing up the format like this. Yay for a home stretch on the Vams cardigan. There's more info on that coming. And no worries if it's not ready in time for the sweater cal. I can guarantee it's not ready for the sweater cal. And I, for one, will be happy to knit it whenever it's ready to make its debut into the world. Thank you so much, Kate. In fact, after watching the interview in this episode with Ella Gordon, I may just have to order some Jameson and Smith for the knit-along. So Kate, thank you so much for your lovely comment. Send us an email to info@thewoollythistle, put winner all in caps, and maybe put Texas episode so we know which one you're claiming, and we will get a $25 gift certificate out to you. And we have a prize for this episode, which is amazing. This prize is amazing. And we're going to ask that you do a couple of things to be in the running for this. We actually have quite a few prizes, and they're here, and we're going to show you them right now. Maggie, do you want to take one?
Oh, I do.
Yeah. So our friend Rachel of Fair Isle, and her craft is called Bee Craft. Our friend Rachel has been saving up her little Shetland sheep fleeces that she cuts herself for quite a while, and she had yarn made at the Uist woolen mill. And she sent us 3 skeins of beautiful, pure Shetland wool from Fair Isle. Now shall we have
I know. It's so good. You don't even have to hold it up.
I know you get the whiff. And
so good.
Her labels are adorable. So this one is butterscotch. This is her sheep butterscotch. Oh, and this yarn has come from Amelia, Butterscotch, Chestnut, Desmond, Ernest, Little Miss Teddy Bear, Lorenzo, Macaroon, and Piccalilli. She names all her sheep. She knows them all by face. And this is a gorgeous color. It's an oatmeal-y color, spun at Uist wool, which is in the Western Isles, the Hebrides Isles. We sell their yarn here too. And this is 100 gram skein. And it looks like a 4-ply. Does it say? DK weight, I'm wrong. It's a DK weight. Gorgeous. 100 grams, 235 meters, whatever that is in yards. Do you want to show yours, Maggie?
I do. I have Barnacle.
Oh.
And it says this one is from Agatha, Baba, Barnacle, Brownie, Marble, Miss Marple, and Rufiki.
I saw on our Instagram the other day that Miss Marple was making, you know, mischief, and I thought, oh, Miss Marple. Isn't this lovely? This is a nice gray color.
It's a lovely gray color.
And how does the yarn feel to you?
It's nice. It's got a nice hand,
yeah,
but it's squishy and bouncy.
I love that it feels like Shetland wool because it is, but I feel like it's got a little pebbly texture to it, which I always like. It's not smooth. You
right.
can feel it. And this one here is Busby, lovely Busby with horns. And this is the cream, and this yarn comes from Busby, Curly Whirly, Custard, Lavender, Marlene, Pinky Nose, Rainbow Bright, Ready Brick, which is a breakfast. What do you call that here?
Or the shredded wheat?
Yeah, shredded wheat. So we call it Ready Brick. Rhubarb, Sandy, Scraggly Bagley, Sleepy, Snowball, Solo, Steve McQueen, Sunshine, and Tilda. I don't know how she is inspired with these names. We need to find that out. But just lovely, and all the information is on these lovely cards. Not only that, so we have well, first of all, we have 3 skeins. So we're going to have 3 winners that win a skein each. And then we're going to have runner-up prizes who get some other things that Rachel sent very kindly. I'm really excited about these. So these are drawings by the kids at the Fair Isle Primary School in Shetland. So we have a nice card there. So, and then you get a postcard of Fair Isle. That is the whole island. And when I was there, there's the lighthouse, and my house was that one. Right there, there's a little house. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's Sheep Rock over here. So you get a postcard, you get a card from the primary school, and absolutely wonderfully, you get a henty legget. And a henty legget is a tuft of wool caught in a fence post or a thistle. That's where the woolly thistle gets its name. Or, you know, some other plant that's got spikes on it, and you get these tufts of wool. And she sent along 3 of these. And look at that.
They're so good.
They are so good. She presented them really nicely. Mm-hmm. This is a real treasure from Fair Isle.
And she wrote on the back too.
Yeah, Fair Isle henty legget for you. So 3 people will win these prizes too. So you're still getting some wool from Shetland, from Fair Isle. And all you have to do to enter to win is make sure that you follow the Woolly Thistle on YouTube here, as well as on Instagram. And then find Rachel's, but she has her own podcast on YouTube. So you have to go follow and subscribe her podcast on YouTube. We will find that out. We'll make sure that you have the link to get there. Go subscribe and follow her on Instagram, where she is Barkland_Croft. We love Rachel. She's a great friend of the shop and me personally. And we want to help her be successful with her yarn sales. Now, of course, This is just done, and I think she's working on our website. We'll let you know when this is ready to go on sale. We will not be selling it at the Woolly Thistle. It's too precious and there just isn't enough of it. But if you go follow Rachel, you will also get the information direct from her as to when her website is ready. So nice. When she drove this down, she actually brought out all the bags of wool over on the ferry, drove down through Inverness, stopped in and saw my mum on the way because they were neighbours on Fair Isle. And then she went over to the Western Isles to drop this off, and this is what came back, and it's absolutely beautiful. I do want to show you one more skein from her. This was for me, and she has a marl here, so she'll also be selling those. And this is Juniper. Little Juniper, who sadly passed away. Very upsetting. And also in here, very limited edition special blend of wool from 3B Craft Shapes, Barnacle, Busby, and Butterscotch. And she's called it her Juniper, which is just lovely. Isn't that gorgeous? So this will be on sale as well. So, did I say what you have to do to win?
Yes.
Okay. So do those things. Should be 4 things basically. Make sure you are signed up and subscribing to Rachel's podcast here on YouTube, our podcast on YouTube, Rachel's Instagram, our Instagram, and we'll put all the links underneath for you to make that nice and easy. But I think this is a great prize and very generous of her to share this with us. Okay, Maggie, what are you knitting on?
So I've been knitting on a new sweater. I've been knitting on it for a long while, so it's not super new. I've been using the Ann Budd's top-down handy book for top-down sweaters.
Great book. We stock it.
We do stock it. I think we're well stocked right now. And I really like, you can see on the cover, I liked this circular yoke pattern, and I liked her eyelet and increases. Yep. And I wanted to do that, but I wanted to use John Arbin's Devonia 4-ply. Yep. So I knit a swatch months ago, and based on those numbers, followed the instructions in the book, and have been knitting. It's almost done. Have been knitting.
Isn't it lovely?
Sweater. So,
so this is Devonia. We have this in 4-ply in lots of colors. Hold it right up so you can see. The colors are so complex. I don't know if you can tell, but there's blues, and there you go, blues and reds in there. So the yarn is gorgeous, and this is such a pretty design that you've made.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. It does fit. I put it on. I like that about the top down. You can put it on and see if you've gone majorly astray. I wanted it to be loose and drapey. Yeah. And it does that. The front and the back are the same. You don't have any short rows, but it actually seems to fit okay when I think that style of loose drapey sweater, and I think because it's such a big opening, although you know it won't fall off or anything, but it's so pretty. I think it'll be really nice. So gorgeous. And I think when I block it, it'll really open up those eyelets a little bit. You can kind of see them. Yeah. Really nice. And then I wanted a 3/4 length sleeve, so I did that. Yeah. And then at the bottom, I've done a 3x1 rib because I wanted it to lay pretty wide open. I didn't want it to cinch in at all. Right, so it's gonna, where's it gonna hit you? Upper hip or waist? Oh, it looks more waist. Yeah, like more natural waist. I didn't want it too cropped. Yep. Because then I find I'm always pulling it down. So, yeah. Well done. Is this the first time you've designed your own sweater? It is. Yeah. It is. You're making me a little more adventurous. I figure worst case, it's knitting and I rip it back. Yeah. Yeah, nothing bad can happen unless it's just yarn. And this yarn, I did rip back a couple times because I had various ideas for the sleeves. And how is it when you rip it back and knitting? Yeah. It was totally fine. Yeah. So this is 100% wool. 100% wool. From John Arbin. So it's worsted spun. And it's lovely and drapey. It's quite a thin yarn to knit, but it doesn't look super thin knitted up. No, I was sort of surprised because in the skein it does look rather thin, but even in my swatch, have you blocked this at all? I have not blocked this yet. So you've not even blocked it yet? No. Amazing. And yeah, so I'm really excited to block it because I think it'll really just open it up. And it's lovely. Nice. And it's so soft and silky feeling. So this is what I'm knitting my ridiculous ranunculus in. I've got to pick that up again and just get on with it. That's really pretty. I like that color. It'll be really nice. And this is the Nightshade color. Okay. I'm finding lots of my knitting is purple lately, and I don't know why. Like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, purple.
Purple, yeah, we go through phases. We go through phases, I think, of colors. Yeah. Well, that's lovely. That's that. I can show you, I give you a little sneaky peek. I've been knitting on my Autumn's End by Alanna Dakos, who's never not knitting. And I haven't made a huge progress since I showed you last time, but I'm working on the body. And I can't wait for this to be finished. I love it. I really enjoy knitting it, but I think I'm going to really enjoy wearing it.
I love that color. It's
a really good color. I mean, it's bright for sure, but you'll see me coming. So yeah, I think this is Rowan Felted Tweed. It's got a little bit of alpaca in it, which will help with that drape. It's actually a DK weight, but it's knitting, I think I got gauge. I don't know if I even checked, to be honest with you.
I think it's one of those yarns that has a really flexible gauge.
It does. It could be knitted at a fingering weight or even much larger, I think, too. So it looks like an egg carton right now with all that lace, but it's going to be spectacular. So it's got a leafy, I don't know, we can't see that. It's got a leafy motif and it's going to block out really nice. And I've done both sleeves. So now I'm just working up the body. I'm doing the waist shaping, which they have, or she has you do sort of a channel up both sides, and that's where you do your shaping. So you don't have to get all messy with the shaping in the actual lace. So that's a nice cheat. So yeah, I'm knitting on that. That's my fun knitting. Shall I talk about this?
I think you shall.
Okay. So the Vams Cardi is cruising along. Thank you, Roxanne. You saved my life. I will give you a published thank you in the pattern because without you, this might not have happened. I have knitted a sleeve and it's a full length sleeve I made. And I'm working my way down this one. This will get finished today. Then I'm going to be able to do the button band and the neckline. And it's got a nice 2x2 little rib on the bottom. And then we'll cut it open. However, I have hit yet one more snag, hopefully the last one. While it's in tech editing, they noticed a little blip of a problem. So I'm working on that. It's to do with math. I'm working on that. We'll get that sorted out. And then I think this will be ready for test knitting. I have come up with a name for it. It came to me when I just was fed up and wanting to throw this thing out because I've had so many trials and tribulations, but I keep going and your encouragement is really, really helpful. Thank you. It's going to be a victory when I get this finished. So this is going to be the Victory cardigan. And I think it's aptly named that way. V for victory, V for Vams, you know, so it has the same sort of feeling. And it will be a victory to get this finished and out to you. So I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going and we will beat this for sure. And I've got this much left and one more ball from Roxanne, and that should be well and good to get this finished. So more to come on this. Even now, there's still more to come.
It'll be worth it.
It will be worth it. I can't wait. Cannot wait. Oh, we've got to talk about the sweater cowl.
Yes.
Yes. Do you want to tell them about the sweater cowl?
Yes, the sweater cowl. This is our 4th annual sweater cowl. You can find all the details on our cowl page on our website and in both the Facebook group and our Ravelry group. But everyone's invited to join us and to knit a adult-sized sweater or a colorwork vest. We allow those because of the amount of work involved in a colorwork vest, but
otherwise you need to knit sleeves.
Otherwise you need to knit sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, so adult size sweater, we do require 80% of yarn purchased from the Woolly Thistle. It can be from your Woolly Thistle stash, but it does have to have been purchased at some point in time from the Woolly Thistle.
Yep. This is the only cowl that we require that to. Most of our cowls you can knit with anything at all, but this one we like to make it more Woolly Thistle centric. So yeah. And it's such good sweater yarn here. So
yes. Yeah, so cast on is August 27th.
Yep.
We have designers signing up to offer discounts.
Yep.
And as we hear back from designers, we're adding that information to our Ravelry group.
Yep.
So just pop over to the Ravelry group. It is a wonderful, chatty, helpful group.
Yeah.
If you are new to sweater knitting, both our Ravelry group and our Facebook group are great places to be because you will find all kinds of help and assistance there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course I can recommend a very nice beginner knitter or beginner sweater knitter in the vanilla sweater. That is a great sweater to start your garment journey on, and there is so much information in our Ravelry group so that if you have questions you can find answers in there. Plus you'll find people who have knitted many times in there and are happy to answer your questions right away. Our Ravelry group and our Facebook group are both very, very lovely, friendly places with so many great knitters in there willing and able to help you. So we're really proud of those.
I was in the Facebook group yesterday and a bunch of people did say that they're going to knit the vanilla sweater.
Did they?
So brilliant. And people were like, that's great, I've got like 3.
And you know,
it's wonderful.
It is wonderful. And it's not just that it's just for beginners. I don't mean to imply that. No. I think any knitter of any ability can knit the vanilla sweater, and you can mash it up and make different adjustments to it as well. It's really a blank canvas, which is why it's called the vanilla sweater. And it doesn't get boring. I've knitted 4. And I think what's coming soon will be, Kelsey just did a blog post on this, which you can see in the shop, on the shop blog. But this is Rama knitted with, or Fennel Garn knitted with mohair. And I think I'm going to work up a pattern. I just have to deal with gauge and the math. But we're going to work this up so that we have a fluffy vanilla sweater version of the pattern. And here it is marled with black mohair and pink Fennel Garn. And I'm not sure what gauges they are. I can't remember how she...
There is a blog post, so that tells you the needle size.
This I thought was genius. So Kelsey P, many of you will know her from her email conversations. She knitted these swatches, and the way she knows what needle size she used is these little eyelets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So she used a US 9 to knit this, which is fabulous. The mohair does change the gauge a little bit from just the straight Fennel Garn, so you are going to want to swatch and make sure you're getting the gauge, but I have yet to decide what that gauge should be to make it the way I want it in the pattern. I thought this was a brilliant idea though, doing the eyelets. I usually do purl bumps, and then I'm like, is that half a bump?
Or it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm doing this from now on.
Yeah, I'm doing this from now on too, so you can see. So thank you for that, Kelsey.
They're so nice.
They are so nice. It feels lovely.
Yep.
It's not too fluffy either. It's not like a just, you know, a cloud that'll get up your nose or anything.
Yeah.
It's fluffy without being too much.
Yeah, it just gives a little bit of a halo.
And a shine. The mohair's got shine to it too. So yeah, pink and pink. Yeah.
You
can see it in real life.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that, and we are going to talk about what's new in the shop now. But before we do, I want to tell you that we have a very new and special segment. We're still mixing things up here. We have a new and special segment after the shop update, so please stay tuned and watch for that. What do we want to talk about in the shop first? The very exciting thing?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. So you take one box, I'll take the other.
Okay.
So we have been working for months on end with a particular yarn maker from Shetland. This is organic. This is not available in the US at all, as far as we know.
Oh.
I've been after them for a long time, and it's finally here. And it's taken a lot of work to get what we are about to show you in the form that it is. What are we talking about, Maggie?
We're talking about Uredale.
Yes, we have Uredale yarn here. And we have made little boxes that your Uredale will come in. Okay, so I have the naturals. You must have the colors. So we have both the natural, and Maggie there has the...
It's hard to show.
It is. Maggie has the colors. Now these together will make the Decrofters kit in the Uredale version Exactly. The colors that are used in the decrafter are here. We were lucky enough to be able to get those, and we're very excited. So shall we show them off one by one?
Yeah.
All right. So we're calling this our flight. It's sort of like a little flight of Uredale, and you'll be able to purchase all naturals or all colors or both of them. And we had to import them in on cones and wind them down into these little 25-gram cakes.
It's well worth it.
It's been a lot of work, and thank you to everybody who took their turn winding these lovely little cakes. But this is how we could make it happen. And this is a 25-gram ball. I'm trying to see where the color is listed. I don't think we've got the colors on here yet. I don't know,
because we need to, we'll actually have to handwrite
the
names of the colors.
So we'll be putting the colors on these. This is a lovely brown, though, medium brown.
Or a sticker.
Yeah, maybe a sticker. Okay, do you want to show one and I'll show another one?
I do. I don't know the name of the color.
No.
But it's a lovely golden.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Oh, it's really pretty.
Yeah. And this is a darker brown. And of course, these are all going to look very unique because we've been winding them up for a long time and taking our turns. So this is a dark chocolate brown.
And then a purple.
Ooh. I know. There's lots of depths in the colors.
There is.
Here's a cream.
It's a blue. And the colors are very much heathered.
Yeah. And here's an oatmeal-y color.
It's lovely, like olive green.
Yeah, I'd say so. They're very earthy. These colors are very earthy. And this is sort of a gray, oatmeal-y gray. Really lovely. So there's 5 colors in each. Yep, that's really nice too.
Yeah. It's really pretty.
Have you shown all your colors?
I think I've shown all my colors, yeah.
So the natural box comes with 2 of the oatmeal-y gray, whereas the color box is just 1 ball each of 5 colors. And that's because you need 2 of these to knit the decrafter's cap. So we put them in, we put that in. And if you purchase just the natural box, you'll get 6 balls. So yes, and there's a little extra gifty thing in there, but I'll not show you that. You can see that when you get it. So yeah, these will be in the shop today, which is Friday it's Friday the 13th. Oh, lucky for some. So these will be in the shop today. And we're very excited. This is a one-off. We don't have an awful lot, obviously, because this is very much a precious unicorn event, but we are happy to share on a first come, first served basis. Our newsletter subscribers will have known about this beforehand. So if that isn't a good reason to be on our newsletter list, I don't know what is. So be on our newsletter list so that future notifications of other unicorns you'll know before the podcast. Yeah. So thank you very much, Ronnie from Uredale. We appreciate you working with us, and we're very excited and honored to be able to bring this to our customers here in the US.
Yeah.
So that is exciting. And then at time of recording, we just launched the border mill in 25-gram balls, and this you can purchase individually. What's really nice about this is, for me anyway, I think this is really cool. It's got the woolly thistle. Yeah, please. Got the woolly thistle on the label, and as well as the border mill and a nice map of Scotland. And this is their North Coast 4-ply tweed, made in Scotland, 100% Shetland wool, hand wash only, and these are 25-gram little cakes. And this one is called, I'm looking for the name on it.
It's on the back.
Oh yeah, this is gorse. Gorse is a bush with bright yellow flowers on it, and pretty much all over Scotland. So this is a great color. What do you have?
I need to mention this bowl smells amazing.
Smell.
Like you can just smell it.
Oh yeah.
Right? So this one is, it's a really deep brown, chocolatey brown, and it is called Black Isle.
For the Black Isle.
Yeah.
Which is just north of Inverness, over the Keswick Bridge. My granddad lived on the Black Isle, and that of course is where Julie's yarn comes from, is the Black Isle yarns. This is Stack Poly, and it's a lovely sort of lavender purpley color. Stack Poly is a mountain that you can go climb. My sister's done it a few times, and it's up in the northwest of Scotland. Go ahead.
This lovely green is called Myrtle. It's really pretty.
This is an undyed color, and it's called Lyethach, and it's a lovely medium gray.
I'm glad you got that name.
Yeah, I'm going to try and...
I can do this one.
Okay.
This one is called Summer Isles.
Lovely.
The raspberry.
Yeah.
It's really pretty.
Juicy. I love juicy colors. The Lachnaba is this... I say it like I know what I'm saying too. Yeah. It's funny. These are Gaelic names. I am not a Gaelic speaker. But this is a sort of medium to darker oatmeal color. The Lachnaba.
Here, you could say that one.
Oh yeah, this is Inverewe, which is a nice brick red color. Inverewe is over on the west coast as well, and they have beautiful gardens there. So if ever you're visiting the north of Scotland, head over to Inverewe and go look at the gardens. They've got massive rhododendron bushes there that are beautiful. You know, we do all this when we're kids, and that's what we do with our summer holidays, is drive around the north of Scotland, going to these places. Lovely color.
I don't know if it would be helpful to hold these two together.
Yeah. So which one is this? Summer Isle?
Summer Isles.
They're quite similar. I would say this one is lighter. This one is darker.
Yeah. This one's a little more pink.
Yeah.
A little more red.
Yeah. Summer Isles and Inverewe.
This one is Dornoch Firth.
Dornoch Firth. The at the end.
Yes, like she said.
Interesting fact about Dornoch. I believe that's where Madonna got married when she got married in Scotland. At the Dornoch, probably the cathedral, I'm guessing.
Do the blue.
Locherabal. Nice deep blue. This is worsted spun yarn too. So usually, most often, Shetland wool is woolen spun, but they're a worsted spun mill, and so you're getting much more of a sheen on your color, which is really nice. And it's not completely unusual to have worsted spun Shetland wool, because the Heritage range from Jameson and Smith is also worsted spun. Really nice.
It is interesting what a different kind of look
it does,
gives it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. They're both beautiful. This one is Erica.
Nice pink.
It is a really nice pink.
This here is Beaulieu, or Beaulieu. That's French. I'm not a French speaker, and I'm not sure what it's referencing. I need to go find out. Very dark purple, which is nice. Kind of like your Nightshades.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah. Pretty.
This one is Atlantic. I love this color.
It's a greeny blue.
Yeah.
Petrol-y blue. Oh, Grey Cairns of Camster. Another natural gray, but it's more, this here is more brown gray. This is more gray. So this is Grey Cairns of Camster. And this one again is Lyethach, Grey Cairns. Okay.
And last one is Wee Dram.
Ah! Or Highland Coo. Highland Cow. No, it's Wee Dram, which of course we all know what that is.
We do.
Don't we? A wee dram of whiskey? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a wee dram. Back home, you talk about how many fingers you want. So a wee dram. And it's a lovely muted orangey. It could also be a bracken kind of color when the ferns die and turn into bracken. It's kind of a light bracken color. Really nice, very evocative of Scotland. And these have been selling extremely well. We have a good supply. We put in a nice big order with them, and we waited patiently for it to come, and now it's here. So good for color work.
Yeah.
Or
by itself.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
I'm not sure you can go wrong.
I'm not sure you can go wrong either. All right.
There you go. Oh, so pretty.
So pretty. Okay. What else? Let's talk about maybe some books.
Yes.
Oh, to do with the sweater, Cal. Have you decided what you're knitting?
I have decided what I'm knitting. It occurred to me we sort of passed that.
We
by
did,
accident,
didn't we?
But I'm gonna knit a sweater from the Scandinavian Sweaters book. I love this
So
book.
good.
I want to knit everything out of
Me
this
too.
book, but I am going to knit. I should have bookmarked this.
It's quite likely that I will be knitting out of this book too, but I have not decided yet exactly what.
I am going to knit her Defiant cardigan, which is this one.
It's gorgeous. So that's a yoked.
So it is a yoked sweater. It has on the body of the sweater, there's pearl bumps in the green.
Yeah, the diagonal, the lattice work is all in pearl bumps to give it, there you go.
I don't wanna show that, but you can see the pearl bumps there in the
Just
photo.
gorgeous. So lots of texture. And of course, this book is by Kristen Viola Odegaard, who is a well-known designer from the Nordic countries. I think it's Sweden.
I want to say Sweden, but I could be wrong.
If we're wrong, we will correct it there, and apologies to Kristen.
Yes.
But beautiful book, absolutely stunning patterns, every single one. Maybe I can show you. Why don't you show them?
So I'll show the yarn I picked. So I used, in looking at the colors that the pattern recommends, they actually recommend slightly different from what it looks like in the photo, but it does recommend 4078 and 4010 for the main colors. So I picked up that in Brahma Thinner Garn. So I got those, but then the other contrast colors didn't quite seem to match the photo. So I went through and picked out colors because I wanted it to look like the one in the photo, and my sister's actually going to knit the exact same cardigan.
Awesome.
Because that's how we roll.
It's going to be lovely.
So I think it's going to be really lovely, and I'm excited. This is definitely the most challenging knit that I will be undertaking.
All over color work.
All over color work, and I've never steeked before.
Oh, seriously? Oh my gosh.
I steeked a mug cozy. I'm not sure if it
You have
counts.
steeked before then. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I will say too, if you're afraid of steeking, Donna Smith has the mug cozy. It's a bobble mug cozy. And it felt really low.
Yeah,
low
low
risk.
investment. Yeah.
But it gave me a good sense of how it just didn't unravel. Like I just cut it. I didn't reinforce it. I didn't do anything. I used J&S.
Yes.
And it just...
I think so much of it is the wool you use. If you use wool that's sticky, like most of the wools at the Woolly Thistle, you will be good with steeking. Yeah. But that'll be good. We'll have to document when you get there.
Yeah, because of the labor involved in this, I might reinforce my steek just because...
Well, and that's okay. You know, just because you don't have to doesn't mean you shouldn't. And I think too, it does end in a, you know, it gives you something to latch onto and tape down. I am looking at this one in here, which I love. And I'm not sure about the colors though. I love gold and yellow, but I'm not sure if they look, I don't know. I have to think about that for myself. And then
I love the detail, like on the, I think it's on the back cover actually. You can see the detail on the top of the sweater over here.
Yeah.
It's just really unique.
And the other one is quite similar but different. I really like this. And there's actually embroidery up and down, which, you know, you don't have to do, but it's very gorgeous. Yeah. So I think these are the two that I'm choosing from in this book if I do indeed go whole hog, which I quite likely will. Yeah, this is a wonderful, wonderful book. Really nice patterns in here. Maggie and I often drool over this. Yes. And it's a book that's nice to look through as well. Yeah. Okay, what else do we have?
I will say too, I'm going to interject that if you're going through and you need help picking your photos, you can email us. Yeah. We're always happy to help and send you extra photos if you need them.
Picking yarns and things, yeah.
Because we know it can be challenging.
Yeah, and we've even done little videos where, you know, you can see all the colors together and maybe we change out a couple of things. So photos, a little video sometimes, and we can help you. So just ask, we're happy to do that. Yeah. Thanks, Maggie. Making Stories is now on pre-order. And
we have a copy.
Yep. And you're particularly smitten with this.
I am really smitten with this issue. I find that when I was looking through all the photos, there are a lot of sweaters. I'm in sweater mode that I'd like to knit in here.
Yeah.
This one's called Zero, and it's knit with Biche Bouche, with petite lamb's wool and mohair.
Yeah, so we have that, which is great.
Yes.
I find Making Stories magazine always has beautiful patterns. They always talk to me. They're always really, really nice.
They look very wearable. Pretty shawl. Just a really, really nice.
There's a nice scarf that I want to get my hands on.
Even this sweater.
Yeah. All of them are nice.
Sweater.
And they always have really interesting articles. They have lots of good designer representation as well.
This scarf?
Yeah, I love that.
This one, nice
colorwork
scarf.
Look at that. Gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Yeah, like looking at every pattern, I was like, ooh, I can knit that. This hat, beautiful cabled hat in Garfinor number 3, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah, so some of the yarns we have are represented in here, so that would be a good deal to get together. We have quite a few of Marie Wallin's little square books, and we just added this one, Winter Crochet, and it's all crochet designs. Pretty picture on the back. And so you can see that she is designing. She's always done crochet, but this is all crochet. Look at that statement piece there.
There's one that's sort of stripy.
This one?
No, but I had actually seen Marie wearing it in an interview. And yes, it's that one. I did some digging to see, like, where is that sweater?
Yeah.
And it was in this book. So.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have this, and also Moorit Magazine. We're on the waiting list to have that come in the shop. I'm really excited about Moorit Magazine, which is by Alison, who is actually the designer that created the Woolly Thistle logo for us many years ago. Alison now lives in Scotland. She's married to Scott, and she is the genius behind Moorit Magazine, which is going to be all about crochet, using lots of beautiful yarns that we can get excited about here too, I think. So we're waiting for that to come down the pike. And also Radicle Threads. When that comes out or is available for pre-order, we will be putting that in the shop as well. That's a no-brainer. That seems like a really good magazine to have in the shop. Let me check my notes to see what else we want to talk about. Oh, Marie Wallin gift boxes. We have another supply. By the time you see this, I don't know if we'll still have any left. They're selling like hotcakes. And what we've done, the last time we had this box, there were only 16 colors in the range. Now there are 20. Marie has sourced us a nice bigger box, and we're going to put all 20 colors in there. So that is available now at the time of recording, but we've already sold maybe half of them since they went in the shop just yesterday, which is amazing. That is a pre-order. They'll be going out at the end of August. We did just have a big update, restock of Fennel Garn, and many of the different Rama yarns actually. So if you're looking to make a vanilla sweater kit, now is probably a good time. Do you want to share what's coming?
Yes. So we will be carrying new to us in the shop, Piece Fleece worsted weight.
Yes, and we're super excited about it.
We're really excited.
We don't have a lot of worsted weight yarns, so that is an area that we mean to fill up a little bit, and we couldn't think of a better yarn to start that with than Piece Fleece. Piece Fleece is a wonderful story. It started out in partnership with Russia many, many years ago, helping people from Russia. And now they're working with the Navajo Nation and sourcing their wool from them. And it is then spun at Harrisville Designs, which is of course here in New Hampshire. So we feel it's very fitting. It's a wonderful yarn with a great story, and it also just looks and knits up really well. It's tweedy and has great colors. So be looking for that. That may well be in the shop by the time you're seeing this. So just to give you a heads up that it's here or coming. Yeah, so other than that, you know, we just recommend that you check out the shop for our latest blog posts. We have wonderful blog contributors. We have Isla from Orkney. We have Rachel from Fair Isle in Shetland. we have Kelsey P, who is a remote member of our staff, and she helps customers. She's an expert knitter with lots of knowledge and is super enthusiastic about knitting and yarn, and she's just a great member of the team to have. She really is. And in fact, she is joining us here on the podcast. We're going to go over to her, and she has got something wonderful to talk about. I hope you enjoy it. This is the surprise at the end, and she is actually going to be a monthly contributor to the Woolly Thistle podcast, and we're super stoked to have her.
Hi, I'm Kelsey. I work at the Woolly Thistle, and I answer the customer emails about yarn, patterns, colors, how the colors work together, how different yarns would work together, and all sorts of fiber and knitting related questions like that. I also write blog posts for our blogs, generally about different yarns that we carry and how they knit up at different gauges and kinds of technical questions like that. And I live in Vermont with my husband and toddler and our cat. So I just want to talk to you about two things today. First thing is color work and how to figure out what to do with those leftover balls of color work yarn. Because often Farrell patterns call for 5, 6, 7 different colors of yarn, and when you're buying Marie Wallin, British Breeds yarns, when you're buying Jamieson & Smith, they come in these 25-gram balls, and sometimes you only use a little tiny bit. So for example, I have this FC14, I have FC38 of almost full balls, but then I also have all sorts of different blues that I only have bits and pieces of. I have a little bit of white, I have kind of a half ball of this yellow. So what do I do with those colors? How do I figure out what else I can do with those amounts of yarn? So the first thing that's really important, that I find to be really important, is to be able to weigh your yarn. Just a simple kitchen scale, a digital scale. I think mine cost about 20 bucks. And what you want to do is you're going to take the amount of yards. So here the 25-gram balls of Jamieson & Smith contain about 125 yards, if that focused. And so 125 yards divided by 25 grams means that you have about 5 yards per gram. So if you can weigh it and say you find out you have 10 grams, you know you have about 50 yards of the wool left to use. So this is really good for patterns that call for a specific amount of yardage. It gets a little trickier in some patterns, like for example the Katie's Kep, which is a Shetland Wool Week pattern from I think 2020, calls for just a ball of the different colors. So you kind of have to look at the pattern and gauge, is that going to make it? Am I going to have enough? Generally, these colors in a colorwork hat, the dark purple in the background was this color, the FC14, or sorry, 14 mix. And I used more than a ball of that, but every one of these other colors I used significantly less than a ball. For example, these blues that I showed you these little remnants of, used about 5 grams each. So it's definitely hold on to your little bits and pieces, because you'll be able to find a colorwork pattern that you can use them up for later. And all you have to do is find that yardage and gram information on the ball and weigh it, and you can get a pretty good approximation. It might be off a little bit here or there, so you don't want to cut it too close, but you can get a pretty good approximation of how much you have and if it's going to work for your pattern. The other thing that you can do that I really like doing, because it's pretty economical, is knit 2 of the same pattern. So what I did here is, because this hat, which came from a local yarn shop, and I don't even think you can get it on Ravelry, and this is not a yarn that we carry at Woolly Thistle, I knit this a few years ago, but just to illustrate the point, it has 3 colors. It has this sort of dark forest teal green, it has a white, and it has the sort of sagier kind of mid-color green. And I originally knit this hat and then thought, I have a good amount left of all of these colors. How am I going to figure out what I can do with it? So by weighing the skeins before I started, I knew how many grams I had. I did the same math I just talked about, and I figured out how to rearrange the colors to make a second hat. This hat is actually larger than the first hat. I made this one for my husband, I made this one for myself. And I did some little tricky things here and there, like these colors are not the same as in this hat, where it's the same in the band all the way around, if you can see the difference between those two things. But generally you can weigh and see, like, how much did I use for this hat, and then swap it in for a color that you have that much or more left over from somewhere else in the hat. So for example, I swapped mostly the dark green for the white. And some places I didn't, like this band is identical, but in a lot of places I did. And I managed to get 2 hats out of the same balls of yarn. So the second thing I want to talk about is something that I'm very excited about, is the Woolly Thistle is getting Peace Fleece. Peace Fleece is an American-made yarn. It's spun in Harrisville, New Hampshire, so it's very local to the Woolly Thistle. It's 75% Navajo Rambouillet yarn and 25% wool, and 25% Texas mohair. So it's American fiber, spun in the United States, dyed before it's spun. So it comes out with these sort of tweedy little flecks. It's a 2-ply yarn, and it comes in skeins of 4 ounces, so it's actually more than 100 grams. And they're about 200 yards, so it's more or less an Aran weight. It's a fairly heavy, it's a heavy worsted to an Aran weight. And I just wanted to show you a few colors that I personally own. This is called Mesa Marble. It's a gray, but it also has all these blues and reds and yellows kind of flecked through. It's a woolen spun yarn, so I actually think of it as kind of a super Jamieson & Smith. If you took the little tiny threads of Jamieson & Smith and you blew them up, you'd get Peace Fleece, more or less. It's not Shetland wool, it's American wool, but it is a similar construction, it's a similar yarn production process, and I think it actually feels fairly similar. Clearly a little squishier and bigger, but I think it's a comparable yarn. I love it because it comes at a great price point. You get a lot of yardage at a thick weight yarn, which is kind of unusual. And it comes in all of these really interesting colors. As I said, Mesa Marble. This one is called Powasha Hemlock, which is a foresty green, pine green, but also with some yellows and blues. They have some really nice grays, heathered grays, and deep reds. This is called Amaranth, and it's a red, almost a bricky red, but not orange, just a true dark red with some flecks of blue and purple. This is Siberian Midnight, which is a navy with some grays, blacks, and these cool flecks of white. And a lot of their colors have those different heathering effects. And I just wanted to show you what I've done with those yarns. So the first is slipper socks. These are socks. Generally, I wouldn't suggest a woolen spun yarn to make socks, but I sewed this slipper bottom, sorry, they're used, so a little dirty, slipper bottom onto the bottom for my husband, and he loves them for around the house while he works from home and just on cold days. We live in Vermont. This is the Siberian Midnight knit up, and this is the gray I just showed you. It took about a skein total, so a little more than half a skein of one yarn and a little under half a skein of the other. The pattern is called Classic Wool Socks, which is actually put out by Peace Fleece. And I added the stripes myself. I just kind of striped where I felt like as I went down to try to use kind of half a skein of each. And this is about a size US men's shoe, and used only about a skein of the yarn, which is really nice. And they're very warm and squishy. And the other thing I have done with Peace Fleece recently is I actually knit. This is a sweater called the Ballad Pullover by Sari Nordland. And it's so hot today, so I'm not gonna put it on. But the gauge is about 14 stitches to 4 inches, and the body is all lace, which this yarn is kind of fuzzy, so you're not, because of the mohair mostly, so you're not gonna get the stitch definition that you may in a, say like a Ralma Stricka yarn that's a tight twist and is a 3-ply and is a much rounder yarn. But I think it still turned out really well. And you can see some of those yellows and greens and blues throughout that green. As I said, the gauge, I think I said, the gauge is 14 stitches. I used a US 9 and a US 10 for different parts of the sweater, so it's a pretty fast knit. I used about 5.5 skeins of the yarn, about 1,100 yards, but I'm also very tall. I'm over 6 feet tall, so I added a good amount of length to the original pattern. I also knitted a little bit bigger than I probably should have, but it's a nice cozy winter sweater, which is really what you'd want to knit knit piece fleece into anyway. And the only other thing I wanted to say about the socks, sorry, is the gauge. These were knit on about 20 stitches to 4 inches on a US 6. So piece fleece has a pretty good range of utilities, from a much tighter fabric to a much looser fabric, depending on sort of the drapiness and the sturdiness that you're looking for. I'd recommend it anywhere from maybe even from a gauge around 12 stitches to up to even 22 if you're looking for something that's much tighter. I wouldn't go much tighter than that, and I wouldn't really go too much looser than that, but it's a really versatile yarn, especially if you're fine with, if you can see some of the halo and fuzz on this sweater. The other thing is that piece fleece on their own website says that you can throw it in the washing machine on a gentle cold wool cycle. Not the dryer, but the washing machine. I actually haven't done that with this sweater, but I knit my brother a sweater in their Porterfield plum color, and I did exactly that. And it just tightens the fabric a little bit. It's not quite fulling or felting the fabric, but it tightens it in, and it just makes it a little more durable, a little bit warmer even, which you may or may not want, but it's just a nice option to have, that you can put it in the washing machine on that very gentle, very cold cycle, just to be completely clear. Anyway, that's all I have to say. We're getting piece fleece into the shop very soon, if not already by the time this podcast comes out. So send me an email if you have any questions and for anything that I've said in this little segment, or anything about piece fleece, because I love it. It's a great workhorse yarn for a lot of different projects. So it is a woolen spun yarn, so be careful in things like if you're actually knitting socks that go into shoes. But for things like slippers, hats, cowls, sweaters, everything like that, I've had some great success and I've enjoyed it a lot. Thanks.
So I don't know if we have anything else to say.
I will just add that regarding piece fleece and Kelsey P, she is going to be putting together a blog post about it, because this is one of her favorite yarns. Yes. She just loves it. Yep. And for very good reason. She's knit with it before and is really excited that we're going to have it. Yeah. So look for that to come to the blog really soon.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think all that's left to say is, if you go out, take your knitting, wear a mask, and we will see you soon. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.